You're listening to the Geriatric Mamas Podcast with Jessica Raziri
and Sonia Tapley. Hey mamas, happy Thanksgiving. Ever wonder if you're making someone feel uncomfortable when you try to strike up a conversation at holiday gatherings? A lot of common, seemingly harmless questions are, in fact, making many women and couples feel super uncomfortable, and not always for the reasons you would think. So we're going to talk about what's on the table and what's off for holiday conversation starters this year. But first, what's new and binge-able on the Hallmark Channel, and how we're going to clear the clutter of toys before the Christmas presents start flowing in. Enjoy!
Enjoy!
Mamas, I love a full and silky texture in my face creams because they feel so healing and comforting to my dry, thirsty skin. Well, the award-winning, best-selling, lightweight moisture release water cream by Honest Beauty called Hydrogel Cream refreshes and cools my skin on application and leaves a dewy finish. As I mentioned on the Hope-isode, Kathy's story, I love mixing Hydrogel Cream into my foundation for a healthy-looking glow. Infused with jojoba and squalene to help hydrate and soothe thirst, plus 2 sizes of hyaluronic acid to help soften and firm, reducing the appearance of fine lines. Honest Beauty's Hydrogel Cream will provide a beautiful glow for very dry skin. We're leaving the link below in our show notes. Drink up, mamas.
Mamas, I want to have rosé all day, have fun, and let myself live a little without feeling drunk or feeling hungover the next day. So I treat myself by adding rosé tinted glasses to my sparkling water or lemonade. If you're like me and you're looking for calm daytime energy while feeling alert, present, and uplifted because, well, you know, you're a mom now. Adaptogenic and antioxidant-rich ingredients make rosé tinted glasses from Apothecary great for those battling feelings of stress and looking to curb signs of aging with improved skin tone and moisture. Its tincture format makes it easy to drop wherever you're making it. It's perfect for busy working moms, busy stay-at-home moms who are looking for mood and energy support on the go. We're leaving a link below and in our show notes. So cheers, mamas! So I keep bringing up the Hallmark Channel because I just can't, I guess, get enough of it this year.
I need to get into it. I haven't had a chance. I haven't had an opportunity.
Normally when I'm bored and I'm by myself, I'll have something I want to watch like really badly, like a reality thing or something that I'm like waiting to watch. But now I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to put it on something holiday because it makes me happy.
Yeah.
And so the other day I saw that the Hallmark Channel has mistletoe murders. So there's actual murders, holiday movie style.
Yes.
But it's a series.
Okay.
So anyways, of course, I now own the holiday channel as far as like a subscription goes.
She's full blown, guys. She's full blown.
So now I subscribe to the Hallmark Channel, apparently.
Okay.
And I'm
going to need your login info before I leave today. Just so you know, it's the toll of being my friend.
Exactly. Actually, that's a really good idea. So the Mistletoe Murders only had 3 episodes out, and I finished them, and I was like sobbing at the end because it's so good.
Okay, I'm excited. Is it like, first of all, like when I say this, I'm not insulting Hallmark Channel at all because like I love me some good Hallmark movies. Like they are cheesy. That's why you watch them because they're just like, I don't care. It feels good. But is it like that kind of cheesy acting?
Kind of cheesy. It's a little cheesy.
That's cool.
So the first episode, it's basically like a season, sort of, because like they have to solve this murder. So the first episode is extremely cheesy, and then as you get into the second and the third, it gets a little bit less cheesy, but it's still Hallmark style.
Okay, I'm all about this.
Yeah, so it's cool because it's starring Sarah Drew, who plays April Kempner on Grey's Anatomy, and I know you're not like a big Grey's fan, but she was like one of the bigger stars in the show, and she's just really good.
Okay. I'm excited. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah.
I wish Hallmark, and I understand because it goes against everything the Hallmark Channel believes in, but I kind of wish Hallmark would also like get into Halloween a little more too.
That would
like,
be cute.
I know they go straight to like Thanksgiving and like Christmas, which like, again, love it, appreciate it. That's what they're about. But I feel like they would just kill it with a Halloween game.
Now that especially they're doing like murders.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, you're doing a murder, like a murder series. Like, why can't you?
Like a mystery?
Yeah,
like
touch on some Halloween stuff.
Look, we should be on your payroll.
Yeah, get us on your payroll.
Promoting you, Hallmark.
We're very expensive,
we're coming up
by the
with
way.
ideas for you. Yeah, we are. We're
We're going to be very expensive. But we'll probably do it for free if you asked us.
Great. We just
also
see, we're already doing it for free.
Yeah.
So not to switch the subject abruptly, but before I forget, have you seen the quotes that are coming up? This new reference that people are using on social media called bedroom kid versus living room kids.
You sent it to me, but no.
So, like back in the day when we were kids, did you spend more time chilling in your bedroom or like in the living room with your parents?
Like how young kids? Like what do you mean? Like
as far back as you can remember for like childhood, like before you turn 12, probably like before adolescence, because I feel like at that point you're a bedroom kid mostly.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like all through high school, I was totally in my like my parents call me Princess of Darkness because I was just like down in my room all the time. I would say probably, I don't really remember. I feel like I was probably in the living room.
Yeah,
I feel like I was in the living room.
That's good. I feel like I was a mixture of both.
Me too. The reason is because I had a playroom. And so, like, all my shit was in the playroom. Yeah. And then sometimes I would haul things out to the living room.
Right.
And I would put on shows and performances for my family and make them sit there and be a captive audience unwillingly.
Yeah.
But that's all I can. But I think it was kind of a mixture of both.
Yeah. So there's this whole thing going around, and it can get kind of dark. Like if you were abused or whatever, like you would obviously spend the majority of your time in your room and like try to stay away from parents. But then there's also like the fun parents versus like the unfun parents, I think. So it's like just trying to raise living room kids, like you're like the kids.
So living room kids, obviously it's like fun parents.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Like it's a fun environment versus like I would rather just be by myself.
Oh,
like even before you're adolescent and it just, you want to be by yourself anyway.
I would also like to know the take on it between like only children versus those with siblings, because as an only child, you learn to play by yourself. You learn, like there's a huge difference. We took Hayden over to when my nephew's birthday was a couple months ago, and we were over there and he was very much involved, and like, don't get me wrong, Hayden interacts with other people, right? But like my nephew is very much like play with me, interacting with people. You bring a toy to you to play with him and interact. Whereas Hayden would take a toy and go over by himself and play with it. And he was fully fine, entertaining himself. And so like Hayden was very much, so far, he's very much a living room child because in our other house, his playroom and stuff was upstairs, and I'm not going to have him go up and down the stairs by himself, and it's a lot. So it's like, you just bring your shit down here and play with me down here. Yeah. But I wonder if his playroom was downstairs, if he would have been more in his playroom. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. Annabelle's very much a living room child, but and when she does go up to her bedroom to get something and she gets sidetracked by like one of her other toys, she's like, "Mommy, look what I have! Come up and play with me!" So like we're just, I think we're like, we moved the living room upstairs sometimes. You know what I mean?
I just know that it's really funny because it's like, you know, before having kids, you look at the whole idea of like, oh, I'm going to be a neutral mom and like all of my child's toys are going to match my house and my decor is going to just flow and it'll be great. And I'll have like cute little bins for things to hide things and everything's going to have a happy little home. And then it's like you fast forward to reality like a year later and you have fucking shit everywhere and you're just like,
every place to hide something in this apartment is toys. There's something, and then like underneath our stairs is basically where Annabelle like either throws all of her toys herself or we throw them when we need to have the living room clean. It's her toy box.
I know.
Plus everything else.
It quickly became a reality, especially when he was an infant, where it's like you got the baby swing out, you got the bouncer over here, you got the high chair over here, you got this, and you're just like, okay, well there goes that. Like none of this is aesthetic.
And Christmas is coming.
And it's just going to be even more.
Yeah, we need to help each other clean out like old toys. Actually, you're probably not suffering too much.
Are you kidding? Right no, I am. Yes. My mom is just, every time they go somewhere, like they come home with something for him. Like, it's just so much stuff, like all the stuff that we brought. And then it's like all the stuff that they've already had at the house and then more stuff that they're buying. Yeah. And then Kate sends me a text the other day with these like amazing toys. She's like, her question was, do you think Hayden would like these?
Yeah.
well, yes, he would love these,
Right.
but he can't have them
Right.
because there's no place for them. Like
Right.
literally, like it's not a big house. And so we're drowning
Right.
with shit. Like there's just stuff everywhere.
Right.
And I don't even know. I'm kind of dreading Christmas in that sense because on one hand, obviously, like I want to bring him joy. I love watching him open new things and getting new things. But then it's like you look around and there's just like stuff everywhere.
Right.
And he hasn't necessarily outgrown things for me to be like, let me package all this up and get rid of it.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what we could do? So we could put their favorites aside, right? Put their favorites aside and then put everything else that they're like, they would be mad if we threw it away in front of them.
Yeah.
But like they don't really care that much in real life. Maybe we could just get like a couple glasses of wine and go to each person's house and do like the whole Carrie closet clean out where we are like, no, yes, no, yes.
I like that idea.
Let's do it.
But
What?
I'm also learning that I'm a big part of the problem as well.
Oh, for like toys?
Yeah. Because I'm like, there's part of it where I'm just like, especially when it comes to the stuffies, I have a hard time letting go of stuffies.
Stuffies get, those are
yeah,
timeless.
I'm just like, oh, but that's like.
Stuffies are timeless and
sweet
classic.
bear.
And
Okay.
you always can find a place to put a stuffy.
Okay. You're talking just
I'm talking
like
about
hard toys.
the hard
like,
toys.
Does he need 50 million of the same
Right.
truck and like all these different blocks
The
and all
things
this?
that create the chaos.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. All right. I'm down. Good talk. And then we go Christmas shopping and buy it all over again.
Yeah,
Cool.
exactly. Exactly.
All right. Well, do you think we should get into it?
Yeah.
This is definitely an episode. It's a timely episode that I think we're probably just going to make it a tradition and have this episode every year.
Yeah.
And today we're going to be talking about infertility and the holidays. Ever wonder if you're making someone feel uncomfortable when you try to strike up a conversation at holiday gatherings? A lot of common, seemingly harmless questions are, in fact, making many women and couples feel super uncomfortable, and not always for the reasons that you would think. So we're going to talk about what's on the table and what's off for holiday conversation starters this year.
First question to not ask at the holiday gatherings. When are you having kids?
Can we please just remove this question?
Seriously.
Why is that like, I just don't understand. Why?
It used to be such a big thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like my family just knows better at this point.
I think it used to be such a big thing because it's not that like, well, infertility numbers are rising. That's a whole thing because people are waiting longer. But I think it also used to be a bigger thing because, you know, there's still such a stigma around the whole infertility thing today, but it was even bigger back then. And people just kind of suffered in silence and didn't talk about it. And so this was still an issue back then.
Yeah.
Just people weren't talking about it as much as they are now.
Yeah.
But it's just don't.
Yeah.
Maybe just don't.
When people are having kids, it's a very sensitive topic for so many couples these days. As some couples aren't ready to start a family yet, some have decided not to have children at all, and 20% of married women are affected by infertility, while 30% of men are affected by infertility. And unfortunately, the numbers are rising each year. So we're going to get into what exactly infertility can feel like to someone who's experiencing it firsthand on the day-to-day, and then especially over the holidays it can feel even more intense.
And I have a video too that I sent you earlier. It's a YouTube video that we'll include in the show notes of a blogger that was really vulnerable and just opened up and just was kind of explaining, and she's just like, it's okay to not be okay, and I'm not okay, and I'm just not doing any of the fun things. It's not fun for me. So it's
giving
really
yourself
raw.
that grace.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So from the essay, This is What Infertility Feels Like by Rachel Norman from the perspective of Jen, here's an inside look at what women and couples are feeling during their journey to their miracle baby. Infertility feels out of control. Yes. All my life, I had dreamed of being a mommy and having my own family. Having a family is what was next on our list, and I am a list person. I found my soulmate, had a beautiful wedding and start of our marriage, and this is what our next life event would be. I am a planner, and if you're anything like me, you like to know what's next and to be prepared for it. I was not prepared for this. As someone who likes to have all things organized and in control, this threw me way off course. I could plan as much as I wanted, but this was something that I had absolutely no say in. The way that I feel this so much. I had to wait. I had to learn to give up the need to control the situation in every aspect of our lives for that matter. Infertility feels hopeless. A friend of mine told me that she was pregnant and that she had to see a fertility doctor and take Clomid to make it happen. That got me thinking, and I decided to make an appointment to get checked. When we went to that second fertility appointment and the doctor told us we would never get pregnant naturally, I was crushed. First of all, I want to take a second here. I feel like doctors need to stop saying that to women. Like, you will never get pregnant naturally.
Right.
Do you know how many times I was told that? And guess what, guys?
Yeah.
I got pregnant naturally.
Yeah.
So, like, can we just not say that? That's just so, like, closed door. Like, anything can happen.
Right.
That leaves no room for miracles.
Right.
So it's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
I can't. I felt like everything I had ever dreamed of was being taken away. The doctor told me, I'm going to get you pregnant.
I love it when the doctor says that.
I'm going to get you pregnant. Okay, calm down. Husband's right here. He might have something to say about that.
No matter what it takes.
Yeah, he's like, I just don't know what it's going to take, but I'm going to get you pregnant.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Back on track. Well, I didn't believe him. He was so confident saying that, but I didn't believe him. I thought there was still a chance that the upcoming treatments he told us about wouldn't work and we wouldn't be able to have our own babies. I had some hope when he told me that, but my fear of it not working outweighed my hope that it would. And that's so hard because it's like you want to stay positive because positivity, you just need that. It's going to help the situation.
Right.
But then you also are protecting your heart and you want to prepare yourself for the outcome of it not working.
Right.
And there's that big chunk of you that has that doubt. And it's not that you're trying to be negative. You're just trying to be realistic.
Right.
And it's just hard to find that balance of being hopeful and realistic. Sometimes being hopeful means it's not realistic.
Yeah.
In our case, it wasn't. But I chose to stay hopeful, and here I am. So.
Yeah. So continued from the essay, infertility feels like everyone around you is getting pregnant. It may not be true, but it feels like it. Someone is always posting an announcement on Facebook that they're pregnant or that their baby has been born. For me, I felt happy for them, but it was a constant reminder of our situation, and I felt like I couldn't get away from it. Everywhere I turned, someone was getting pregnant. It hurt to hear people say that they got pregnant by accident or that they didn't plan on this happening. They had to come to terms with accepting having a baby on the way, and here I was trying to wait patiently for it to happen to me, knowing I would be so thankful when it finally did. People would tell me about how they got pregnant by accident or to watch out because it's in the water. I know.
Well, I don't know what water they're drinking, but please send me to that river because I got some jugs to fill up.
Exactly. All I kept thinking was if only they really knew what we were going through. It's so crazy too when people are on the outside and they have no idea what's happening and they're saying these words. It's like you're smiling and you're nodding and you're trying to relate in some way, but there's just no way to relate.
Yeah. One of the things that this person said in the beginning where they were saying that infertility feels like everyone around you is getting pregnant. So one of the bloggers that I was listening to was saying how she really was like threw herself into an Instagram community of women that were also in it with her.
Yeah.
And that was helpful. But she also felt like people would come and go and she was left behind.
Yeah.
Because they would be there in the community, but then their miracle would happen and then they would leave the community because they no longer needed it anymore. And they were still there for her, but she suddenly felt like she couldn't really relate to them as much. She was different now.
Yeah.
And then she was just constantly left behind.
Yeah.
And I felt that a lot too.
Right.
Just hearing that because it's just like it's so true and it's so sad, but it's almost like I imagine how it feels at like the dog shelter or animal shelter or something. You just see all these like dogs come in and get adopted, going and leaving,
and like adoption
to their
for
family,
kids,
adoption
too.
for kids. It always goes
know.
back to puppies for me. I still call Hayden's doctor the vet.
Yeah,
I can't.
Yeah.
At least lost a vet appointment.
I said that about Annabelle too, especially because like for a while there we were back to back vet appointments, and Annabelle hadn't been like sick at all. And so then Annabelle gets sick or whatever, and I'm like, "Go take her to the vet." And Mike's like, "What?"
That's so funny. Well, it's like in the beginning for a while there, Hayden's doctor was just kind of used to it. And so she was really funny. She would joke about it. She's just like, so his next vet appointment. She just like goes with it. I'm just like, thanks.
Oh man. So yeah, putting him in a little dog costume for Halloween.
Yeah, it was perfect. Exactly.
So we ended up starting our Facebook group. When we started our Facebook group, the intention there was really just to be like another extension of the podcast conversation. Mm-hmm. But we've turned it since into fertility support, and we have someone in charge. We have Brittany in charge. Mm-hmm. So she's been posting a lot in there, and she just made a good post about kind of like what we're talking about now, and a few people responded. So I definitely encourage you guys to check out our Facebook group. It's just Geriatric Mamas if you're looking for an online support group. And the goal is that eventually we'll be able to have some New England meetups. Mm-hmm. And, you know, kind of like what you just said, the whole thing about like eventually people leave.
Yeah.
I feel like that is going to be a challenge. And I was actually thinking about that this morning because I watched the same video.
You know what I'm talking about then, right?
Yeah.
It hit me. I was like, oh, that's so true.
But I feel like you and me, we have a Geriatric Mamas podcast because of our fertility journey. So you and I are going to be a constant, and Brittany is very passionate about it. So she's going to be a constant. So at least we have 3 constants in that group.
I think like when she was referring to people leaving, it's not necessarily the physical them leaving the group. Like I think like they're still there. Like if she needed to lean on them, but it was just the idea of,
because they already have
now
their
they have their kids. Yeah. So I don't know that I can open up as much, because when she opens up, she understands it because she was there before, but now she has her miracle. So she's not fully understanding the despair I'm in anymore. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like maybe that's where she was going. I don't know. But to your point, we are a constant. We're not going anywhere. We're here. You're stuck with us.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. I totally get it. It's a struggle. Infertility feels like no one around you understands what you're going through. If you've gotten pregnant easily, or you haven't had the desire to start a family yet, you really don't understand how hard it is to wait 2 weeks and see a negative pregnancy test month after month. That was the hardest thing when we were getting started. If you've gotten pregnant easily, be thankful for that. When you decide that you want a family and you start trying for one, every month is more devastating than the last when the results continue to be negative. The dream of having a family and having your own baby becomes a little but more distant, and the idea that it might not ever happen starts to take over your thoughts. If I would have known for sure that it would happen, I probably would have been able to deal with the wait a little bit more easily. It's the idea that it may not happen that's so devastating.
Infertility feels like you are broken. I remember feeling like my body was failing me, like it didn't know how to do its job correctly. I felt broken at such a young age, and I felt like a failure for not being able to make my parents a grandbaby to love, since I know they were very much looking forward to that. Through infertility and my difficult pregnancy, I remember continually thinking that my body was useless and couldn't do anything right. I had to come to terms with the fact that I couldn't change the problems my husband and I had, and that it wasn't our fault. Our road to getting pregnant was just going to be different than others. There wasn't some underlying moral reason we weren't getting pregnant. It was because our reproductive system had a problem that needed treatment. Just as you would treat cancer if you were diagnosed, we needed treatments to get pregnant. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. One of the things that she's saying that I really can relate to, and I appreciate her saying, is that their road to getting pregnant is just going to be a little different. And it's like there's no right or wrong way to get pregnant. Some people it's easier than others. Some people's road is a little different, a little bumpy. It's, you know, some twists and turns and up and down before it finally happens. And the way that she mentioned, you know, some people need treatment for cancer and some people need treatment to get pregnant. So it's more normal than people realize.
Right. It's definitely like a kind of a grieving process. I waited 4 years before getting into the process of IVF because I was like, no, this can happen. This can happen. Like, this is what our bodies are meant to do. And so it was kind of, I guess, something where I was like, this is going to happen because this, and then it didn't. So it's
Do you think you would have had as many challenges had you not waited 4 years? Or do you think it would have been the same thing?
I don't know. I mean, definitely, I think for us, mostly it was like waiting for COVID to get over.
Yeah.
So that, so I guess, if we had started earlier, which I kind of was like kicking myself a little bit about like, why did you wait so long? And then now we have like this worldwide crisis.
Yeah. There's a part of me in my gut that tells me that I don't know that it would have been any different.
Yeah.
Like obviously like age didn't help the situation, but there's just something in me that tells me that I would have struggled even if I had tried earlier too for some reason.
Right.
I don't know. Infertility feels like a constant reminder that life is not fair. Why do these trials happen to some people while others get pregnant so easily or accidentally? My husband and I were ready to be parents, ready to get started raising our small family into this world. Other people get pregnant with one-night stands, have abortions, do it for the wrong motives, but us, we were ready. So why did we have to wait? It's the classic case of life's not fair. Yeah. And I felt so bratty saying that, but why me? This isn't fair. Right. Why can they have it? They're not deserving of it. They don't even take care of their children. They can't even take care of the ones that they have. Yeah. Like they can't even take care of themselves. Like they're shit humans. Yeah. Like why do they have kids? Like I would be so much better. Like, yeah, it's a normal reaction.
Yeah.
It's not pretty. It's not a pretty reaction, but it's normal.
We all have those thoughts. Next on the essay is infertility feels lonely. For us, we didn't tell many people what we were going through, so I couldn't expect anyone to be sensitive to the situation. It was really hard to be around friends and act like everything was fine and then go home and cry my eyes out. I knew if I told more people, I would feel more pressure, and I didn't want to have to talk about it all the time. Being around people that didn't know what was going on forced me to talk about other things and helped to distract me from my anxiety. So in that sense, it was good. If you're dealing with infertility, talk to someone. It doesn't mean you have to tell everyone you know. I certainly didn't, but it makes it easier to deal with when you have a couple close friends that know you well and can be good listeners. I'm so thankful for the friends that helped me through our infertility and crazy pregnancy.
As you were reading that, I was like, did I write this?
Right.
That was like so relatable.
Yeah. I feel like there's definitely pieces of both of our stories in there. Sure.
Agreed.
So these things, I hope kind of like, if there's anyone listening who hasn't suffered through infertility and like your first question to like your sister-in-law or your brother-in-law or whoever is, so when are you having children? Because I'm saying it from my perspective. I kind of used to do this to my brother and my sister-in-law all the time. Like, when are you having kids?
Yeah.
Hey mamas, are you someone who's 35 plus and struggled with fertility, endured a miscarriage, experienced heartbreaking fostering or adoption challenges, or were perhaps flat out told by a doctor that you will never conceive naturally, and despite the odds, eventually found your happy ending by becoming a mama?
Send us your story at geriatricmamas.com. We would love to feature your journey to motherhood on a future Geriatric Mamas episode.
The holidays when you're going through infertility, it sucks because Christmas and Thanksgiving and everything, it's such a joyous time, and you see loved ones you haven't seen in a while, and you get your nails done, you have like your holiday outfits. If you go to church, you do that like evening mass thing or whatever it is. You have the parties, but with that obviously comes a lot of curious minds, and it's people who maybe haven't seen you in a while, and they're just looking for a life update, and they're just looking for small talk, and to them it's just kind of a casual, like we were saying, when you're having kids, when you're going to fill that house up with little ones, and we'd sure love to have a grandbaby in here soon or whatever. So it's innocent. It's not malicious. It's not meant to like make you feel some kind of way, but it does, and it's going to happen. And so when I was in preparation to this episode, I actually did my homework. Are you proud of me?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Finally, it only took over a year of doing this podcast, but I came across it's kind of a collection from a few different sources. I sent you one video and she had some really good points. So just like some solid tips to help you get through the holiday season if you are struggling with infertility, and I'll throw in some that helped with me as well. And if you have any, just throw them in there too. But one of the first ones that it was unanimous across anybody that was mentioning advice is stay off social media. Give yourself a break. Mute button, mute people. I was really big with unfollowing people until I realized they can see that you unfollow them, and then that's embarrassing. Oh yeah. So mute people. Because I don't necessarily want to unfollow them. It was a lot. It was a lot of like posts and stuff, and I didn't want to see that. So, or just get off social media for a little bit, give yourself a little bit of a break. And so that was like a really big one. Another one was with the holiday cards that are coming. You don't have to open them. You can throw them away if you want to, or just save them in a box, save them for later. You don't have to open them right now. If you know that update and seeing that happy family and seeing the picture perfect life that you were really thinking that you'd have for yourself is going to hurt. Don't open it, because they didn't send you that to hurt you. They sent it to be fun and loving and include you in their life. And I bet if they knew that it was going to hurt you, they wouldn't want you to look at it either. So just save it, tuck it away for later. Don't feel like you have to open it right away. If you know that you're going to be going to a gathering, one, you have the option of just not going. If you don't feel that it's going to be in your best interest to go, and it's going to like put you in a funk, and it's just not going to bring you joy, then maybe bow out. And if if people there know what you're going through, they should understand. But if you do decide to power through and you want to go and you feel like just being around everything, just know that those questions might possibly come up, and spend some time in the mirror thinking about how you're going to address it, how you're going to handle that, or maybe talk to somebody ahead of time. Like one of the things that I would do is I would go to my mother-in-law and be like, hey, I don't really want to talk about XYZ. Can you just kind of make it known to a few people just to not bring it up? If I bring it up, it's one thing. Once I've had a couple glasses of wine, I might volunteer this information, but to start of the night, I don't want to set the tone. I just don't want to talk about it. And she was really good at going around being like, just don't talk about this. Don't bring this up, you know? So maybe if you have one of those, that can be in your corner to do that for you. And just kind of think of responses of how you're going to handle those hard questions. Another one that I thought was really smart was when it comes to holiday shopping, have somebody else do the shopping for the kiddos for you. You know, like you don't necessarily have to do it. Have somebody else handle that. Take that off your plate. Have your mom do it. Have a family member, have your best friend do it who already has a kid, who already knows, who can just handle it for you. Don't have to worry about it. Or maybe this year, instead of going to all the gatherings and doing all the typical stuff, you go on a vacation. You know, like, well, it's funny that I'm bringing this up because one of the bloggers that I follow is just like advice that people give that is just like not helpful. Like, you should go on a cruise. But actually, like, maybe do that. Like, maybe like skip the holiday, take a break, boycott it. Like, who cares? Just do you, focus on you. One of the things I did is I got a puppy. That actually helped me. That took my focus. It actually kind of helped a little bit with the baby fever because I had the puppy, and that was a really good distraction. And then we got pregnant shortly after. So I don't know. Do you have anything to add?
I think distractions is a really good one. And then compartmentalizing. If you are someone who just doesn't want to miss the gatherings and you know that's going to be a thing. I am a Libra, and we are known for compartmentalization and style flexing to different conversations and putting away it's like almost like a double personality. It's really weird, but like the capability to just completely pretend like nothing is happening and nothing is
I can
wrong.
do that too.
And then like, woo, and like just going and having a great time.
And then bawling your eyes out all the way home.
Or like if you've had a few too many cocktails and you get your best friend alone.
Oh yeah.
You trauma dump.
Yeah.
But
we're so good at trauma dumping.
You're so good.
We need another night out of just pure trauma dumping.
Oh my God. Really good at compartmentalizing when completely sober. So if you like to drink on the holidays, just know maybe one or two if you're trying to compartmentalize and change your identity.
And also that actually brings up another good point because a lot of the things I was reading too is like, you know, when you're trying to get pregnant, you don't want to be drinking, especially if you're right in the midst of like fertility treatments, and people are going to ask, why aren't you drinking? Why aren't you drinking? Because it's a social thing. And guys, if you're not already on board with this, you need to be on board. They do make non-alcoholic wines.
Yeah.
There's red wine, there's sparkling, there's champagne.
Mhm.
It looks just like it. What I would do on a few occasions is I would hide the bottle. It would be like in the bar, but it'd be like tucked away, like under like in a cabinet or something. So they would see me go to the bar, they'd see me fill a glass, but they didn't know what it was. And it was like, it literally looked like I was drinking red wine.
Yeah.
But there were many occasions that I wasn't actually drinking and it looked like I was.
Yeah.
And then I would bump into things and people would be like, oh, you're drunk. And I'm just like, this is natural. But I'd be like, it's just too much wine. And it's literally grape juice.
Yeah. When we had Tiffany and Amanda come on for your birthday and Tiffany was like wicked pregnant with Lucas, they were drinking Shirley Rosé and they said it was really good.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll have to include some solid options in the show notes for that, because that's also a good little trick just to avoid the questioning. Because I used to try the like, oh, I'll just have Sprite with lime and make people think it's vodka soda. And that never works. People always see right through it. They always see right through it.
Or they're like, oh, can I have a sip?
Yeah.
Like I've had people do that to me before. Oh, you like that? Can I try it? Can I see if I like it? And you're like,
you're going to hate it. Bye.
Yeah, it's not that great.
It's awful. Goodbye.
Oh, anyways, we digress.
Yeah.
But yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Jessica.
So here are some things of what else not to ask at holiday gatherings. So this goes beyond infertility. This is just kind of in general. Just don't be this person.
Right.
Do not ask about a boyfriend or girlfriend who was there last year, but not this year. If they are not there, do not feel like you have to be the one to take one for the team and address the elephant in the room. Just don't talk about it. If they don't offer up intel, you do not need to know. If it's for a reason, just let it go. Don't say things like, oh, are you still single?
Yikes.
Who's saying this to people?
Right.
Gross. Who invited you? Are you crashing this party? Get out of here. Don't bring up politics or religion. Can we just stop? Like we talked about this 2 episodes ago, I think.
Yeah.
Can we just not?
Yeah.
I literally cringe when politics comes up at any gathering, let alone holidays.
Like you never know what's going to come out of people's mouths.
Like,
you never know.
Can we stop with the red, white, and blue? It's red and green season. Let's that's what July is for.
November.
You can handle it. You can do the whole patriotic thing. Talk about it all you want. Your heart's content. But this is Christmas. It's all things red and green or blue, Hanukkah, whatever. Just not politics. Let it go. Just let it go. Stop. No. And also just don't say anything crazy to anyone. Just don't start things. Just don't be that person that's going to start an all out war and just get conversations going that don't need to be started. Your cat, I literally he makes an appearance in every episode.
Hi, dude. He's like, what is the problem? Can you keep talking and pretend like I'm not here? So safe conversation starters at holiday gatherings. So these are some cheesy conversation starters. What are your favorite side dishes? I feel like
I don't think that's cheesy though, because I'm actually really I'm really intrigued about those answers. I like hearing about that stuff. So
in fact, Brittany actually, I think, posted that on the Facebook group to change it up from infertility for a second. And we all were like, woo, jumping on that one, obviously. What did you like most about the holidays as a child? I think that's a really cute one.
What did you like most as a child?
I think it was going downstairs and seeing the tree all lit up and knowing Santa Claus came. And then my brother and I would get our stockings first. And it was always, when we were really little and we could only get our stockings first, it was always filled really fun stuff. Really good stuff.
My favorite childhood memory is getting in the camper with my Meme and Pepe and Kate and her brother. And it would be the 3 of us kids in the back of the camper. And we would just go through neighborhoods and look at all the Christmas lights while my Pepe would play Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. And Meme would act like she was all pissed off about it and stuff. And you don't sing that. That's not nice. And we would just think it would be the funniest thing. And then we would do stuff to the cars behind us and stuff, stick out our tongues. And I might have mooned somebody. I don't know. But it was fun times. It was fun times.
Oh my God, I love it. What is your funniest memory about us or me growing up? So this would be a really fun one to do with your cousins, siblings, whoever, parents, whatever. What's the best prank you ever pulled on someone in this room?
I'm full of pranks.
You know. What's been your favorite movie or TV show this year?
Yeah, that's another one I'm all over.
We got hooked on that question last year at our Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could just keep circulating the room with more apps and drinks and let other people start combos with you, which is usually my go-to choice.
Just let other people take the lead on that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really just kind of depends on like the mood. Sometimes I'm notorious for like, I don't like awkward silence.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll usually fill it in with just like babble. And so if I feel like I can just sense like the vibe in the room might shift to politics, or it might shift to, at the time, like fertility journey and how are things going, I'll quickly like think of a topic that has nothing to do with anything and then just start talking about it to like get that energy going, so I can just kind of like, whoop, I'm gonna dip out of this room now.
You're always like wicked excited about it, so everyone's like, yeah, I know, and then you're like, okay.
That's a trick too. You act like you're so excited about whatever you're about to say, and then people are like, oh, I'm excited about talking about this peanut butter sandwich as well.
Oh my god, did you see Mystery Murders? It's so fucking lit. Oh my god. Well, on that note,
don't say that.
Wow.
Just jump right in. Remember? Reminder, you get 24% off whenever you're supposed to scare them.
Reminder.
Wait, can you read this in a British accent?
I'm not good at it. I have to channel my inner Hermione.
Okay, do it.
Reminder, you get 20% off services at Ageless Medical Aesthetics in Westbrook, Maine with the code MAMAS2024 and a free first swim school class at Goldfish Swim School in Portland, Maine with the same code MAMAS2024. Sorry if it doesn't sound like the last time I said it. You'll just need to call them to schedule your child's first visit.
I don't know why your voice just started getting higher and higher and higher.
I was trying harder and harder.
He started sounding more like, I don't remember her name, but it's definitely Harry Potter, but it's the teacher. It was the mean teacher that like...
Oh, Umbridge.
She wore that pink outfit. Yeah. She's chunky.
Umbridge.
Yeah.
With the blood.
Yes. That's who you were sounding like.
Hey, we got through
beautiful.
It.
That gave me life. That gave me life. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Be sure to tune in next week. Your support is keeping the podcast going. You can help by following, subscribing, rating, reviewing, and especially by telling a friend to listen anywhere or watch on YouTube.
For more info, you can check out our website at geriatricmamas.com. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at geriatric_mamas, on YouTube at Geriatric Mamas, on Twitter at Geriatric Mamas, and follow our group page on Facebook, Geriatric Mamas.
If you have a topic idea you'd like us to discuss, are interested in being a guest, or simply have a funny geriatric story to tell, you can go to geriatricmamas.com and hit be a guest or send us your story.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Gobble, gobble.
Gobble, 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 gobble till you wobble. Bye.
Hey, mamas. Happy Thanksgiving.
Sorry.
Are we using that, or are we starting over?
Starting over because it didn't really come out the way I thought it was going to.
Oh, like a turkey.
I was trying to be a turkey. Yeah. I was like, that's the turkey being prepped for Thanksgiving.
Oh,
sorry.
Now you're reminding me of lobsters going into a pot.
Jesus Christ.
It's like a really dark turn.
Let's try it again.